Welcome to VR Karts! When you're ready to race, take a look at the trophy to your right.
Once I discovered Mario Kart at about the age of 10, that was pretty much it for me in realistic simulator-style racing games. Karting games just provided so much more direct multiplayer interaction through their use of power-ups. Colourful and imaginative track design featuring difficult to pull off shortcuts also make for a vibrant metagame. While a lot of racing games require all competitors to have comparable levels of skill, karting games' auto-balancing features like the blue shell make play more welcoming to newcomers. Last year Ben, also known as forum user Apex Studios, put out a couple of recreations of Mario Kart levels for the Rift. Whilst these were devoid of any other races or power-ups, they at least proved that the idea of a karting game for VR was almost certainly a very good one, with all the same kinesthetic benefits of a cockpit game or driving sim. VR Karts by Viewpoint Games is an original karting game designed exclusively for the Rift. And while it naturally sports no affiliation with the classic Nintendo title, it does very much retain the Mario Kart aesthetic. With its music, rainbows and castles, you'd certainly be forgiven for mistaking it for the real thing, at least at a glance. VR Kart's helmeted drivers don't have as much character as the Mario Pantheon, of course, but I do love the cartoon style and the kart design itself. I like having to use my wing mirrors, and I like that your position in the race is located on trackside signs rather than as permanent UI elements. The cartoony style makes for quite a comfortable experience, although getting buffeted about by other drivers can be a bit disconcerting, and perhaps could do with being telegraphed a little more. The menu system and post-race results lobby are functional for VR and cool, although the character on the TV screen does become irritating after several plays. The fact that I suffered through it a dozen or so times does say something for the fun experience of the core game, I suppose.
Look at the TV. Is anyone there? You should really check the TV.
As this is a karting game, there obviously are weapons, or rather a weapon, which is used by holding the fire button and then releasing it when you're looking directly at your target. As a control scheme this works okay, but there is something not completely satisfying about releasing a button rather than pushing it to fire a weapon, and there definitely needs to be more visual feedback for a successful hit. As this is just an early look demo, only one single player race is available, so naturally it is missing out on some of the vibrancy that makes Mario Kart infinitely replayable. But even beyond adding more tracks and multiplayer, VR Kart still has a lot more core design work to do. There is only one weapon type. Right now there doesn't seem to be any counterplay to the weapon. That is, once you're targeted there is no way to avoid being hit. Riding over boost doesn't give you a boost ability to use at opportune moments, but rather increases your max speed, which I feel reduces the amount of meaningful decisions to take as a driver. The racing itself is also fairly basic. At present it pretty much hold down, accelerate and steer left or right. There's nothing wrong with simplicity, but simplicity without any higher level systems makes for a pretty static race. It lacks features like power slides, handbrake turns or slipstreaming, which contribute to more dynamic races, particularly at a higher level. Finally, without any auto-balancing mechanisms through power-ups for example, it is remarkably difficult to come back if you've been knocked off the track by one of the other racers, and invariably first place gets way ahead, and your tools with which to counter this are far too limited. Of course, as I said before, this version is just a demonstration of the building blocks of the game. And while these are strong, it looks great and handles well, if simply, VR Karts will still need to develop a well-balanced array of weapons and nuanced racing techniques if it hopes to become the definitive VR karting game. I do hope that it gets there for its full release.